Hello Facebook.
Hi.
How you doing? We are going live here from Bow FM 101.5 and this is our very first radio live Facebook stream. I'm Andrea, you know who I am.
I'm Leanne. Hi guys.
And Leanne is going to be hosting the radio show today, so we are live at 101.5 Bow FM.
Yes.
And we will be doing the radio segment here, but we're also live streaming, so if you're out there, give us a yell out.
Hi Karen.
Hi Karen, how you doing? Can you hear us okay?
Hopefully.
So very shortly we will be going live on the radio, so we just thought we'd tap into the live stream first. We're going to be talking a little bit about my story, about how AIC was birthed, and then we will be talking about what we do at AIC and how we can help the community out there. So we're excited about this radio, first time on radio, aren't we, Leanne?
Yes, chapter 1, verse 1. Let's go.
Yeah, sounds good. Awesome, thanks Karen. So if you could share this video, it would be awesome. You may help somebody in need.
Okay. We're going to go to there any second now?
40 seconds.
40 seconds. Okay.
Did you have anything to add?
I'd have nothing to add except, guys, share it out there. It's very important that a lot of should
30 seconds.
Okay. Awesome. No worries. This is awesome, guys. So looking forward to being a part of this new program, the Let's Talk About Ice program.
Make sure your phone's down.
And yes, we're just setting everybody up in the office here to make sure their phones are turned off. Nothing like it. You can't
really?
Okay.
I'll send you 10 seconds.
Awesome.
10. Okay. We're not nervous, are we, Andrea? No, not at all.
First time on the radio.
And good evening there, this is Mickey speaking tonight on 101.5 FM. In the studio tonight, I have two young ladies here who are going from the Ice Foundation. In fact, the program's called Let's Talk About Ice. And I have with me Andrea and Leanne.
Hi. Thanks, Mick.
Good evening. And Leanne, can you introduce to me what's going on?
Okay, certainly, Mick. Well, I certainly can do that. We are Australian Anti-Ice Campaign. You guys, we are also live streaming tonight, so we'll be looking up at a little camera there, and as the camera will see, we'll be looking down at our running sheets as well. So my name's Leanne Butcher. I'll be hosting this program every fortnightly, we hope. Tonight's our pilot program, so please forgive us if we make a few little errors here, but we want to be as natural and human as possible out there for you guys to hear and watch. Okay, and I'd like to introduce Andrea Simmons, who's with me tonight and helping me along the way. Andrea is the founder and CEO of Australian Anti-Ice Campaign and been on a long journey herself with where we're at up until now. And we will be talking about Andrea. Andrea will be sharing her story. We'll also let you know that you can access it's items from our website. So our one of the items is our t-shirts. Yay! Not even once.
You can purchase that online on our website www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's different styles as well. So there's the not even once, that is our message. Ice, not even once. Never. And we do have some other fun ones, Don't Meth with Meth, and the Australian Anti-Ice Campaign one. So
absolutely,
get on there and order, because every cent goes towards helping educate our youth on the dangers of ice.
It certainly does. And not only do we have them, Andrea has also put together her testimonial EP. It has about half a dozen or so songs on it that Andrea wrote herself from talking about her journey down that horrible highway of destruction, and that's the name of the album, Highway Destruction. I get it right, Highway Destruction. You know, one of the lyrics on the song, on the album, Andrea, I'm reminded, says, I was heading down to highway destruction. Was lost, was so lost, didn't know where to go. Lights were flashing and the music was playing. The price, it was my soul. How would you like to talk about how you got to that point in your life, Andrea?
Yeah, that album, that EP was put together through recovery. I wrote those songs yeah, as I was recovering, so there was different stages. Highway Distraction, Leanne, was about going to hell, you know, and that's where this drug took me to. You know, it looked like, you know, I was following the music. It looked like I wanted to go down this road, and everything looked great. It looked like a fair, and it looked fun, you know, but it actually, you know, destroyed me. It destroyed my soul. That was the price that, you know, that I had to pay. But the other songs on the album, you know, was about, you know, being homeless. It was about, you know, suicide and the mental health aspect of recovery, and, you know, people that came out of the woodwork through my recovery, you know, to love me back to life. And, you know, there's a song called Lend a Hand, My Brother, and, you know, A Better Way, which... a song called A Better Way as well, which is, you know, I found a better way. And, you know, this album also is to help raise funds to educate our youth on the dangers of ice. So all of the proceeds from this album, which you can also purchase on our webpage, AustralianAntiIceCampaign.org.au, it all goes towards helping educate our youth on the dangers of ice. And it also shares the message of, you know, how horrific, you know, the recovery period is, Leanne, because, you know, it takes 12 to 18 months for the person's brain, the person that's been on ice, it takes 12 to 18 months for that recovery process to happen and for people to start thinking straight again. So, you know, I just wanted to share that from my heart and how that was, and I find music a great way of expressing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's what that song was about, and yeah, I share my heart on there. So, yeah, if you're interested in hearing and helping us out with purchasing that, you can go to our webpage.
Yes, which is www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au. Also, I'd like to, at this point, if that's okay, Andre, if anyone out there is struggling, family support, you know somebody who's struggling on ice addiction, maybe it's your daughter, your son, grandchild, a friend, we do have a family support number that you can contact through the week, and it's 0481 844 555. So we'll say that throughout the program tonight. Otherwise, you can contact the office on 07 5665 6063. I normally remember it. The nerves have got the better of me tonight, guys. So this is first time. I haven't been on the radio for so long. Go for it, Andre.
It's not only the numbers we're giving out, you know, if you're a family and you have a loved one that's going through addiction and you're not sure how to handle this, we're here to help. We have, you know, we have an amazing team of people that have been trained clinically and have had lived experience to come out and help. We also do brief intervention. We help people that are in addiction to create a pathway to recovery. So, you know, we'd love to hear from you if that's you. Please, you know, reach out to us because we're here to help. So that's
absolutely.
So if you could share it once more, if you could just share this live video, because you don't know who's out there that needs help and who you're going to be touching by sharing this video out there. So really appreciate it if you could. If you could share that. Hello, Jerry. How are you?
Oh, hi,
Thanks
Jerry.
For joining us.
Thanks for joining us. And also Natasha Renwick. I saw your name up there before, Natasha. Thank you so much for listening.
Hey,
and
Tash.
Pass it on to your friends. Get them to listen as well. That's fantastic. Now, Andre, a bit more about your story. How about we paint the scene? How you were one of those. You were married. You were you were running businesses. You had a family. How did this evil drug ice start in your life?
Yeah, I was 40 at the time. I had raised a couple of kids, run my own businesses, traditional businesses. Did really well actually, and you know, as well as, you know, people call well financially. You know, we did okay. We raised a couple of kids well, and I went through a divorce. Things weren't working quite as expected, and I guess I met somebody that I had known from my past, you know, and this person was on ice, and I had no idea. I didn't know what it was. I never did drugs, but this person pulled out a little, you know, glass pipe, and you know, it looked innocent. you know, it really did. And, you know, there's some clear crystals in there, and, you know, he lit it up and said, you know, have a puff of this, you know. And I said, oh, I don't do drugs, thanks, you know. And he said, it'll just make you relax. You trust me, don't you? And at that point, you know, I had known this person for 13 years, and you know, the things going through my mind was, you know, everybody knows don't do drugs, it's bad for you, you know, but we all know somebody that's done drugs, and, you know, they've lived through it. And I thought, you know, I'm 40 years old, I've never tried anything, you know, I'm wise enough and old enough, and it won't happen to me, you know, I won't pick it up again.
Sorry, that was an alarm on my phone.
And I thought that, you know, I could do it just that once, you know, and it wasn't quite like that, you know, just that once led to, you know, another time very quickly, and another time, and before I knew it, Leanne, I was just using every day, and, you know, I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And you know, what happens is when you first take ice, you know, the high is just extreme. You know, it's euphoric. It's something that you've never ever felt before.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, as you're coming down, it's quite you know, the come down is quite debilitating, you know. You kind of messy in the head, the anxiety kicks in, you know, and then you hit up again, you know, which was a couple of weeks up later for me, and you know, the high wasn't quite so high, but the low coming down was, you know, pretty significant. And I thought, oh, you know, I didn't like what I was feeling, but, you know, we went there again, and before I knew it, you know, I was on it every day. I was doing that, you know, daily, and it was like a $500 a day habit.
Wow.
You know, and the down was so horrific that, you know, the suicide thoughts, the depression, the anxiety, my muscles, my body hurt when I didn't have a hit, you know. And I remember I'd be at, you know, at the ATM, because what happened, Leanne, I went through everything that I owned. You know, I had 3 houses, my Mercedes, my jewelry, everything. I just, you know, I went into all of my finances, and I just smoked it all. You know, but I couldn't see it. You know, the frontal lobe of your brain is hijacked, and you can't process logical, rational decision making, and I just wanted to feel okay again. And you're entrapped in this place of, you know, if here is normal and here's high, and the low that you get coming off ice, you know, goes down here and even lower. You're entrapped in this place of just, you know, wanting to be normal and operate and function, and not have that hazy, you know, head, and the anxiety and confusion and depression. So you're just stuck in this downward spiral, and it gets worse every day. You know, the psychosis that took place in my mind was so real, Leanne. It was scary. You know, I had, you know, always the windows closed. You know, I had towels under the door to block it off, because I thought, you know, people were, you know, coming to get me, and that they were in the computer, and I had taken the computer to go and get repaired I don't know how many times, and got lost around the corner from my own house at one point, and got a taxi back, and, you know, I thought everybody was after me and that the government were chasing me, and, you know, it was just really horrific, and, you know, the stories going on in my head, but to me they were real. Yeah. And so the only thing that would take that, you know, the really deep psychosis away would have another hit. But see, I didn't see that from the beginning, you know, and somebody handed me this glass pipe. You know, it looked innocent. It didn't look like it wasn't a needle or a tablet that I would take and I wouldn't be able to control what was going on. It was just something I smoked.
So innocent, and you were vulnerable at the time, obviously.
Well, you know,
and you trusted this man.
I trusted this person. You know, people say, oh, maybe it was because you were going through a divorce or whatever. No, I was quite happy to be in that place. I was quite content as a person, you know, in who I was. My marriage didn't work out, but I wasn't distraught. You know, I was in a good place. I had reconnected with somebody, and I obviously I just wanted to be like everybody else, you know. I wanted to fit in. So, and I was curious, and I didn't understand the consequences, you know. And an ice pipe doesn't come with a label. It doesn't come with, you know, ingredients, and it doesn't come with, you know, side effects. It doesn't come. It just looks really enticing, and you know, and so I decided to try that, and very, very quickly, you know, I was entrapped in this ice addiction, Leanne, for you know 2 years.
Okay.
You know, my world fell apart.
Okay, at that point, Andrea, I know that there are people out there that can probably well relate to you in getting to that point and being that innocent person. It can be anybody. It doesn't have any age barriers or socio-economic status. It holds nothing like that. And I might, at this point, we might take a break. Think about these things, folks, and we'll take a break and we'll be back with you in a moment.
Okay, thank you for that, ladies. So we'll just take a short break, we'll turn to the normal playlist, and we'll be back with you very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're on live stream, and sorry, I keep getting messages come through on my phone.
What I wanted to say was...
yep, now we're still doing live streaming.
Yes? Every time you touch this, it comes over the air. Touch that, it comes over the air.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
Oh,
are we still live, you guys?
Any noises? How are we going, guys? I'd like to say hi to Karen. Thank you, Karen, for tuning in.
Keep coming up there.
It's all because my mail's coming through, so yeah, it's crazy. I'm going to turn that off. Sorry about that. So yeah, we've got people from all over. Let us know where you're watching from, folks. It'd be great to know what part of Australia you're watching the live stream from. Would be very interesting. Thanks, Jerry. We know we're still live because we're doing this is our pilot program, just to remind you, folks. And if anyone is struggling with ice addiction or knows of anybody struggling with ice addiction, you can call us on 0.
If these guys could get down a little bit, because we're still live.
We're still live and we're still talking.
Sorry about that. Sorry, I'll keep quiet.
Our producer didn't realise we're doing live stream, so it's nice because it shows that we're natural. This is a home. And we're talking. So guys, if you are struggling at all, you can ring the office on 07 5665 6063. Okay, and we can put you on to somebody that can help you, whether it's a support or a referral of some sort. Okay, we're not going to leave you alone out there, because what Andrea has just spoken about is pretty dark. It's deep, and it can happen to any one of us.
And Karen, I did see your message there. Some people do not want to be helped, and that is true. And if you understand the cycle of addiction, and we can, you can have a look at that on Optimal Health Group's webpage. There is a video there that what's it called?
Chemically Speaking.
Chemically Speaking, that's right. Yeah, good. See my Hebrew campus, work too good. But there is a Chemically Speaking video there that talks about the cycle of addiction. And what happens is a lot of times people in addiction, specifically ice addiction, they go through this cycle, and most of the time they don't want help until they've come to the end of themselves. They've come to rock bottom. Knowing what to do as the family members around and the people that love this person, knowing what to do at the time that they do come to the end of themselves is so critical, to be there and to help them out. And you really need to have the tools to equip you, how to help them, what to do, what do you do when somebody says, I can't do this life anymore. Fantastic, we can teach you that. And we do have this training that we have on our webpage. If you go to AustralianAntiIceCampaign.org.au webpage, and there's some training there through Optimal Health, and that's brief intervention training. So we can teach you how to have that conversation with somebody that may be entrapped in addiction, how to do a cost versus benefits analysis, and how to help that person into the first stages of recovery. So, hello, Carol.
Oh, welcome, Carol. Glad to see you're watching. And we're about to come back on air, I think. Is that right, Mick? No, we're still going. We're still going another minute.
You're right. A lot of times people entrapped in addiction may not seem to want to come out. But it's going to keep coming up, isn't it?
I'll just keep taking it off. I'm going to have to. Sorry about that.
Just be careful when you do that, though. You're moving the screen.
I'm moving the screen.
Okay.
We're just trial and error here, guys. My alarm keeps going off, and I'm not sure how to turn it off.
Questions?
Can you, yep, we might pass just 1 moment, 1 minute, and we'll be back on air, guys, on the radio. So
maybe the thing to consider, Karen, is to have somebody be a buddy to her, somebody that's been through recovery. So you know, we're here to help. When that time comes that she does want help, we'd love to to hold her hand through and into recovery and be that support person for her. I'm not the only one that's gone through recovery. We have a few people in Queensland that work with us that do education workshops in schools, and we also buddy up with people through the early stages of recovery.
Yeah, well done. And we'll be back on the air in just a sec. And we're back. Thank you. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed that little song break there. Now we've been talking with Andrea Simmons, the founder and CEO.
Yes, you're 101.5 FM in this evening. And we're going live, going back to the ladies here from the ICE Foundation, okay? So we'll just continue on with the program. And back to you again.
Hi Mick, thank you. I thought I was back on air a second ago just to fill you funny guys in. Oh, I tell you, that's funny. As crazy as I am. So like I said, it's trial and error, and we are back with Andrea Simmons, the founder and CEO of Australian Anti-Ice Campaign. We'll get it right. It's Friday night, guys. What can I say? Now, Andrea has been sharing her story up until now, where she was a mum, she was a mum with a business, and she had success, and there was no reason, but it just goes to show, as I said, it can happen to anyone at any time with this addiction. So we're going to go back, and we're going to talk about how once you got to that level and you got so lower than a worm's belly, as I'd say, Andrea, what lifted you up? What was it that got you to turn around? Would you like to share that part of your story now with us?
Sure. First, I just want to pick up that painted picture, Leanne,
Yes,
because I was entrapped in this downward spiral in addiction. I had sold everything that I owned. I was living a life that I didn't sleep for 7 to 10 days. I didn't eat, I didn't drink. My kidneys were bleeding, my hair was falling out, I was weighing 40 kilos. Just to give you an idea, like when I actually got back to the airport home, my own mum didn't recognise me when she looked at me at the airport, and I said, "Mum," she goes, "Who are you?" And I went, "Mum, it's me." And she just started crying. And I don't have many pictures of that time, because see, people think that ice is a party drug, but you don't go around taking pictures of yourself and having a great time. No. You're actually not having a great time. And most people in ice addiction want to get out. They don't know how. Yeah, so they hit up again to try and get away from that horrific experience that they're undergoing. So so I was in that place, and very, very lost. I lost contact with my life, with reality, with my children, with my family, and I lost contact with myself. I really didn't know who I was anymore. I was doing things that I'm not proud to say, Leanne. I was stealing just to survive, and I just don't even know that person anymore. I've been in recovery now for 5 years, but the point of change for me, Leanne. I'm very different to most people. I actually had a supernatural encounter with God that helped me come out of addiction and led a pathway to come back home into recovery. And I was just surrounded by people within a church environment that just loved on me, and whether it's church, youth group, a group of any kind, but people that unconditional love, that unconditional love that just love me back to life, and the total acceptance. My family didn't understand what I was going through. They thought I'd gone crazy. I wasn't making any sense. I was scattered. I was crying. I cried, I think, for 3.5 weeks straight. And just I wrote and everything that I was going through, which I'd like one day to finalise that book and put it into rehabs to help people that are in the early stages of recovery to know that what they're going through is absolutely normal. The early stages of recovery is horrific. It's absolutely horrific. you know, and I'm very blessed that I had a lot of love, and I had a lot of people around me that helped me for 12 to 18 months. In the early stages of recovery, you're just you know, going into depression and dipping out, and you know, trying to work out what happened, and a lot of the life that you were living on ice, you know, you're ashamed of, and you know, the things that you've done, and that who you become, and you have to process that, and you know, kind of work through that. You know, and for me, you know, God, you know, and you know, I was able to start again, and it was a year and a half into recovery when, you know, when AARC was birthed.
Okay.
And yeah, it was another surreal experience. You know, it was a lot of supernatural stuff was happening in my life, and they've continued to do so. But AARC was birthed, and I was invited into school to talk in the schools, and to large groups of people about you know, how I fell into ice addiction, or got, you know, you don't fall into it, you accept it, you actually make a choice, but how that happened to me, because most people, you know, and even the youth out there, you know, they think, oh, it's no big deal, it's just a pipe, you're just smoking something, you'll be right, but it's not.
No.
You know, ice is like no other drug out there. You know, it hijacks the frontal lobe of your brain.
That's what I was going to pick up on.
You're not thinking anymore. The logic, rational decisions that we make as human beings, they're not there. You know, you're operating on a midbrain, which is animal instinct, and all you care about is the next 5 minutes of pleasure. You just want to get out of that horrific, you know, downward spiral when you're coming down, and you just hit up again, and you're stuck there, you know.
So you're saying you lose that logic part of your brain?
Absolutely.
And so all you're after is that next high, and you do anything for that. And this is why, folks, I don't think we can make it as clear as possible. We know there are those out there that we see it on the ads with ice, that they will do anything, and they will take advantage of the family of members. It's not them as a person. Think of them before they got on ice. How wonderful a person they were, and that person can come back, because our brain, and we'll talk about this more at another time, because I'd love to have another guest speaker from Optimal Health on, George, come on one time and explain this more in a more scientific manner for us. But that part of the brain just goes because the ice is frying, let's say, in layman's term, that part of the brain. So all they're thinking about is, I need to get high, I need to be able to sleep, I need to be able to get up of a morning. And that's, am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you do anything. You know, towards the end, you know, I was waiting at the ATM at midnight, you know, to get the next $500 Centrelink checkout, and, you know, to go and get a hit, to go and get a fix, you know, and stealing, and, you know, we want to help the families out there through AARC to understand what is actually going on with your loved one, because you know, that person's still inside. You know, they can't help. It's like if I'm choking you and you want to take another breath of air, you'll do whatever it takes. And you know, because of what the chemical imbalance in the brain, Leanne, the serotonin is depleted, the dopamine is depleted. See, dopamine that looks after how you feel good. You know, makes you feel good. When you don't have any dopamine, you're depressed. You know, you're in this low, very depressed state. The serotonin, all of that depleted, what happens, you've got this, you know, bomb waiting to happen. Somebody that's depressive, that's you know, violent, that's angry, and that, you know, that's suffering psychosis, depression, you know, suicidal. So you got all of that happening at once, you know. So they just want the next 5 minutes. The next 5 minutes pleasure to get out of that place, and it's like air. It really is like air, and it's so yeah. Through this experience that I've had, you know, AARC was birthed. I was able to talk in schools, and then I guess other people that have gone through rehab and recovery, and they were interested in doing the same. I want to share my story too. I said, oh, fantastic, that's great. Let's, you know, I'll tell the school that you want to do that too. And we were, you know, available to talk to people and students, and the impact was phenomenal, because these kids don't understand. You know, people don't really understand the horrific impact by just saying, yeah, all right, I'll try that. It's only smoke. You know, they don't understand the long-term
just gonna grab something
consequences
here.
associated. Just to give you an idea, right? Long-term consequences I'm talking about that people don't understand by saying yes to this pipe. Today my kidneys still suffer. I can't drink alcohol. I've been in and out of hospital for 2 years with bleeding kidneys and infections and all kinds of things. Heart issues that I'm having. I may have to have a heart operation. You don't come out unscarred, guys. You don't.
And at that point, I just want to say, I want to show you guys something. I'm not making an advertisement here. Does everybody see this? Those that are on live stream, for those on radio, I'm holding up a bottle of Mr. Muscle Drano. Okay. Now,
it's just Drano.
It's just Drano. We've also got here nail polish remover. Now, guys,
Want a drink?
Want a drink of it? Would you drink Drano? Would you drink nail polish remover? Don't be ridiculous. Of course we won't. Now, you're saying it affects you this way. Why did I hold up the Drano, Andrea? Explain to the folks.
There's just some of the chemicals that are in ice. And people just don't realise. There's countertop cleaners, there's horrific chemicals. I watched this clip in recovery, a year and a half into recovery, I watched the clip of all the chemicals in ice, and I sat there and I cried.
Are you serious?
And I thought, man, I wish I'd have known. And no wonder my kidneys bleed. No wonder I'm having problems with my brain remembering things, and parts of my life and my memory is not there anymore. I'm 5 years in recovery, but I'm sitting here going, no wonder. I mean, Drano, nail polish remover, countertop cleaner, it doesn't have ingredients on this pipe. And you know what? Furthermore, the kids out there, you don't understand. You might be saying, I might just be smoking a bit of marijuana, just having a bit of dope. The dealers are lacing marijuana with ice out there, guys. Very quickly then transferring you onto, oh sorry, we don't have any more of that, but we've got some of this, that was special stuff, we laced it with this. And because your frontal lobe of your brain is not thinking, you transfer over, you need it, you understand? They have more business, more frequent business.
The almighty dollar.
They're cutting ecstasy tablets with ice. They're making little pink teddy bears with ice. And they're giving it to the girls saying, you're going to lose some weight, you're going to go out and party up over a weekend and lose 4 kilos. I mean, really?
Lose 4 kilos, lose your life.
Most people don't get out, Leanne. That's the thing, and that's why, ice is not like any other drug. There is no harm minimisation with ice.
No, there is not.
I've got some stats that I'm going to share shortly, Leanne. But it's just, we don't believe in harm minimisation with ice. The National Task Force report was very clear, that was put together in 2015 by our government, our previous government, and it was very, very clear that ice is like no other drug, and we need to have a different approach. Yeah,
we certainly do. And this is where Australian Anti-Ice campaign comes in. You're talking about the birthing of anti-ice program, the Australian Anti-Ice. Let's call it AAIC.
That's good.
Okay. So the birthing of AAIC. At this point, Andrea, tell us about that and what the goal is for Australian Anti-Ice campaign would be great.
Yeah, so it was birthed, I guess by lived experience. Then we partnered up with Optimal Health Group, which George Patricky runs.
Yes.
And he started doing some training with us, and dual diagnosis training, and we further developed skills of the evidence-based practice.
Yes.
So we coupled up lived experience with evidence-based practice to give a presentation. And Leanne, it's not just a presentation that we've plucked out of thin air.
No,
we don't take people that are in the early stages of recovery into AARC to go and share in a school. People have to have undergone 12 months of recovery in a rehab. They need to be blue carded. They need to do dual diagnosis training, which is about a third of a certificate 4 in AOD.
Okay. Yes.
They need to undergo induction. They have regular counselling. They're put on a tripod system of support.
Yes.
In a framework where relapse is almost impossible. I had somebody actually from the from a magazine the other day call me, and they said, some people might think that maybe people who've been through ice addiction are more vulnerable to put them in a school. I said, well, you know, aren't we all vulnerable?
Yeah, very good point.
You know, at least we know where hell is.
Absolutely.
And we've been there, we've been able to come out, and we've got a support framework and training coupled with that to be able to, which is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
You know, we want to warn those youth, we want to warn our communities about the dangers of ice, because none of us are unscarred. So we went from schools and we started working in workplaces, workplace health and safety, you know, child safety, you know, we work out in mines and so forth. So yeah, we want to touch as many people as we can, because, you know, ignorance, you know, can lead you to death.
It can. And I can hear that what we're doing is a proactive approach rather than reactive. So the difference between that is prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
And that's where Australian Anti-Ice come from, a very different perspective. Yes, we need detox units, we need rehabs out there, of course, I'm not denying that, but to have a proactive approach so that we can train up a new generation in being prepared and giving strategies to how to say no, not even once.
Yeah. How is it?
Not even once. That's my funny that's funny. And that's the approach that we have, isn't it?
That's
right. No other. I don't think any other organisation I've heard of has done it that way. So going in with the education and awareness. So tell us a bit more about that.
Not only do we, you know, do that education and awareness, we do brief intervention.
Yes,
so,
we do.
And yeah, that means that people like myself and the rest of the guys in the team that have had lived experience in training, they, you know, have a hand up constantly for people out there that are in addiction and they want help.
Yeah.
We're here to help, and you know, we've been there. You know, I've been there. I know the hell that they're facing. You know, our presenters, you know, DJ, Jay, Nicole, you know, all of our presenters, not just on the Gold Coast, but in Melbourne as well, and in Toowoomba, they know what it's like, and we just want to help the next person create a pathway and step into recovery, because there's so much of life worth living.
There is.
And yeah, basically, we do brief intervention, and we have a family support, a clinical arm of family support as well.
Yes, we do.
So we have lived experience family support, and then we have a clinical arm of counsellors and psychologists that work alongside those the family support group. So yeah, we're about prevention, education and awareness. Yeah,
Absolutely. Prevention, education and awareness.
and we do
I like
early
that.
stages of recovery. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
and a good way to remember that is PEA, prevention, education and awareness. So next time you want to go do a P. Sorry, that's my sick humour.
because I don't have a hippocampus, guys. No, well, I do have one, but he don't work it good. So the memory, sometimes I just need to look down at my stats. So the number of Australian teenagers using ice has nearly tripled. That's a really scary.
Tripled?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the problem continues to grow. People will say, oh, we don't have an epidemic out there. Well, you go and talk to your frontline workers. You go talk to the extra 400 child safety workers that have just been hiding in Queensland, awaiting the unborn babies that people on ice are having. You know, we have a huge problem, guys, in that area. You know, we do a lot of workshops in the child safety, so they can get an understanding of what's going on in here. Of the ice addict, and why you know, these people seem to not care for their kids, or you know, they take kids into care that you know, are only 3 years old and have meth in them. You know, it's horrific. You know, these little kids don't have to go through that, and that's going down generation. You know, 2 and 3 generations deep. You know, what are we doing about it? You know, we're going to open another rehab, another detox. We're not actually stopping the problem. We're being reactive to a problem where we need to be proactive. I wish I had known. I wish I had known what was ice going to take me to and bring me to, because I have long-term scars now, Leanne. You know? I'm lucky to be here. Yeah. But most people are not that lucky. You know, a very small percentage actually comes out.
Yeah.
So in relation to the stats that we were talking about, So, you know, the rise continues to rise rapidly, and the wastewater research that was just given to us not too long ago shows us that over 6 years there was a 480% increase in meth in the water, in the wastewater.
Okay.
That's over 6 years. 480%.
480%.
That's not self-reporting,
Testing,
that is
that's-
actual hard
yes.
evidence and facts.
In the wastewater, guys, that gets tested.
So
480%.
I think we need to go for a break, and I'll come back with some more stats very shortly.
That'd be great, guys. We'll
All
be
right,
back in
thank
a
you,
minute.
ladies. We'll just go for a short break and be back shortly. Thank you. So I was going.
Sorry. Okay, we needed to do a break, guys, because being on the radio, you've got to understand that the radio needs a break, because otherwise people's ears get a little bit sore. So it's great to have you here. I'd like to say hi to Lawrence, who's listening in, and Bernice. You sent a ahoy before, and Scott, thank you for coming on board. And
Jesus does save.
he does. He certainly does. And we know that through testimonial evidence, not only of Andre, but many people that have suffered through this horrible addiction. Anything else you'd like to add while we're on a break,
Yeah,
Andrea?
we'll finish this show. We'll finish this show.
Oh, I think just thank everybody for joining, and we're not on this one, we're over here.
Yeah, we're over here now.
Everybody for joining, and if you could share this live video on your pages now, because you know there are people hurting out there and they don't know that we're around to help. So if you could please share this live video on your pages, people can tap in. You know, there might be an addiction, they might have a loved one in addiction, and they might be hurting and not know what to do. We're here to help. So that family support number again, Leanne?
Is 0481 844 555.
My hippocampus.
I'm a hippo.
Yeah, far from a hippo. Look at her, she's tiny.
I'm tiny.
I'm very, very blessed to have some amazing people in AAIC who volunteer and help, and we've got an incredible group of people.
Yeah, we've got a fantastic team in the office there, in our new offices in Ashmore.
Yeah, we've got new offices. Thank you.
Yes, and we've got a great team. I'd like to say ahoy to Vanessa and Victoria. We've got Carol, DJ, and
there's so many people there.
Kyle,
You're going to forget someone.
Jordan, I'm sorry if I forget somebody, but it's just been an absolute pleasure to be working alongside this beautiful woman that you see before us here, guys. I live stream. It's an honour and a blessing to have met her since I've moved up here to Queensland, and worked alongside her. It's just been a passion of mine, and thank you so much, Andrea, for giving of your time. You do give a lot of your time, more above and beyond what you probably should.
I'm just really grateful for the support, you know, for the help, because we can't do this alone. You know, ICE is affecting communities all around Australia. We've opened a Melbourne office.
Yes.
The Melbourne team, guys. Hello, is Melbourne team out there? Hello.
Susan, are you watching? Hi, Susan.
I should share that on.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the radio.
On my page.
On your page.
Yeah,
yes.
on my page.
Absolutely. So, we need photos too.
Yeah. And the Melbourne team, they're an amazing group of people, and
totally.
They're going to hit Melbourne hard into the schools for me. It's great. And we also have people in WA, and we're training people in Adelaide. And
hi, Adelaide.
Doing some work in Sydney as well.
Stoke and Kidney.
Where else? We've been up to Toowoomba.
Yes,
we can't forget our Toowoomba office. Yes. If Nathaniel's out there, say hello.
Yes, please.
And we've been doing some work up in Central Queensland. We'll be doing some work up in Northern Territory soon. We've been up to Rockhampton.
Yes. Perth. Yeah. Got to say a shout out to Jay. In Perth. Remember, guys, Jay did the Let's Talk About Ice last year hosting, and I think he'll be back.
He will be back
with a Perth episode.
Absolutely.
Perth chapter. Let's call AIC chapters, shall we?
So let's talk about ice on the couch. This is let's talk about ice on radio.
Yes, amen. Because you've still got a face for radio.
You're beautiful. Yeah, so guys, if you could share this, it'll be amazing, because the more that we can, the more support we get, the more work we can do in different states. So we need volunteers. You know, we need people to come on board, and if they can offer services in different states to help us do what we do. We are a non-for-profit charity. We do most of us are volunteers.
Like that.
and everything that we that comes in goes into helping educate kids on the dangers of ice, or not just kids but communities, and and helps us with the brief intervention tools that we need as well. So everybody can help.
Yeah, and once we get back on the air in a couple of minutes, I'll be sharing the web page again, guys, for you guys to get on board, and how you can get on board with the Give Now, as well as filling in the volunteer form. Don't forget our t-shirts, our great t-shirts. We've got Andrea's album as well, Highway Destruction, and that we can order on the website. So I'll give you that address in a moment when we've got 2 minutes to go before we're back on air on the radio. Up until then, us great flowers, the rose over here and the gerbera. I'd like to know the gerbera. I'm a gerbera. And we were talking, guys, just to have a bit of fun for now. We're talking about if we were an inanimate object, what would we be? And I straight away said I'd definitely be the cuckoo clock, because I keep on ticking and occasionally go cuckoo, cuckoo. Andrea said she'd be
I'd be the pop machine. Like, pop, never stop.
Absolutely, Andrea, you keep on popping with me. Okay, so big shout out, thanks guys for listening in, and you can comment in the comment sections. If anyone's got any questions too, please place them in the comment section, and if we get time, we're finishing up here at 8 o'clock. And we've got 1 minute to go before we get back on the air and talk into the mics. But if you guys got any questions, please put them up and we'll do our darndest to answer them. And thank you for taking the time to listen in and watch. Okay, we're nearly going to be back on the air, Andrea.
Okay,
so
great.
Where are we going from there?
I'm just looking at
and you're going to be looking at questions and statistics.
We'll continue with the stats.
Okay, we'll do that, and we're just, it's been great so far. What have you guys thought? Tell us what you think so far for our Chapter 1 Verse 1 program, of our pilot program of Let's Talk About Ice.
On the radio.
Oh dear, cool. Losing my voice now. We're filming on my phone. I can't turn it off. Do you want me to? Okay, we're going on air in just a second, guys, so bear with us. You ready, Andrea? You ready for the final 10-12 minutes?
Do you want to?
Andrea Ugly.
Yes, and we have returned with the anti-ice program tonight, and it's back over to Leanne and Andrea. You're live on air, girls. Where you go?
Oh, we're live on air. Let's not forget about that. We love taking selfies, us girls, so we're sitting there waving and talking.
We are also live streaming on our Facebook page. Let's Talk About Ice, Australian Anti-Ice Campaign.org.au. So if you just type in Australian Anti-Ice Campaign on Facebook, we'll be there live streaming.
Yes, and like our page, and then we'll come up, our lovely sexy faces. Anyway, we're talking stats now, Andrea. How would you like to continue with the stats? So far, we've mentioned that the number of Australian teenagers using ice has nearly tripled.
Yes.
We've also talked about the wastewater sampling, 400 and something.
480% increase in 6 years, Leanne. Yeah, it's just that's hard evidence.
No epidemic. There's an epidemic.
There's a problem. We do have a problem. Yeah. So the percentage of dependent users that use daily or weekly went from 12% to 32%. Between 2010 and 2016. Hang
on. Stop. You just said it went from 12% to 32% within 6 years.
Absolutely.
You've got to be kidding.
And most of these were new people, new users. So that's just a self-reporting, Leanne. So, the hard wastewater evidence report gives a hard evidence. You can't deny that. I don't know about you out there, but I was never asked if I was taking ice. Never. So that's
so who's going to report?
Who's been asked out there? I haven't. We stood in a room. George Patricki, who runs Optimal Health Group, and myself, we were talking at the Australian New Zealand Addiction Conference, this topic was brought up about the self-reporting and the stats, and people saying, oh well, the self-reporting stats, it only tripled. I mean, it's not much, but George said something that was really relevant. He asked the whole room. There was over 500 people in that room. Mental health experts and people in AOD. And he asked, who here has been asked or phoned or asked if they are taking ice, and not one hand went up. Not one. No. So, the self-reporting stats is, I don't know any ice dealers that report themselves and say, I'm taking ice. Not many. Unless they have come to the end of themselves and they want help.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's really scary stats there. The Uni of South Australia found the brainwaves and the physical movement patterns similar to early onset of Parkinson's disease in adolescents who had used the drug only 5 or 6 times. Wow. So if you're out there and you're thinking about just doing it recreationally,
oh, come on, guys. Don't fool yourselves. Seriously, doesn't work.
We've got some videos on our webpage of other people who thought they could just take ice recreationally and they became addicted to it very, very quickly, and they went down that horrible spiralling road of almost no return.
Yeah, and what is the percentage of those who do get out of it on the other side?
Oh, look, it's not many.
Not many.
And when they do, Leanne, a lot of times they relapse,
Yes.
If they don't put a framework around them. Mm-hmm. So it is important, love these guys in our team. When they come out from recovery, they come out and work with us because we put a framework around them.
Yeah, and that framework gives them a hope and a purpose too. To get up of a morning as well, because they want to give back to society something that they've lost themselves. So they may have lost family members, they've lost their own lives and come back again. They've lost, like you said, their brain matter, parts of their body that don't work anymore. I remember seeing on our website there was a story of a girl who actually gouged her eyes out under ice addiction. Yeah. And she was the most beautiful girl, and that was a psychosis.
That is psychosis, and that's what it takes you to.
And gouging your eyes out, and now she's blind for the rest of her life.
For life. My heart condition.
Who wants to run that risk?
Kidney issue is life. Most of us have life-threatening, issues that have been left behind. We're not going to schools going, look at me, I've recovered. No, we don't want people out there to embark on this path, because it is horrific and it is something that you have to wear for the rest of your life.
You do.
That's psychosis, Leanne. That eye gouging. I remember once I was at on a bus stop, and I saw this black dot on my leg, and I tell this part of in the school. I saw this black dot on my leg, and I started to pick at it because I thought it looked like a worm inside my leg, right? So I started to pick it. And what is that? And I'm picking it, and before I knew it, I had this big hole in my leg. But then I moved to another one. So I went, I saw another black spot. There's one there too. What is that? And I started digging that one out, and then those spots got infected because, of course, I'm not putting food or water or sleeping, so my body was malnutrition. It doesn't recover as it should when you cut yourself or hurt yourself, so that didn't heal. I had scars on my leg. That's psychosis. That's psychosis. You believe something's inside under your skin, because all these chemicals that is in ice, it's got to come out somewhere. And the way I explain it in schools is that when you eat too much chocolate or junk food, you start to get pimples, right, guys? Right. And that's right. So imagine what would happen with your skin. It's an organ. Your skin's an organ. If you put in chemicals like that into your skin, it's got to come out somewhere. And you start to break out and get sores, and your skin dries out, so you start to get itchy, and then you start to scratch so much that you make scars, and your body doesn't heal itself, and you're in this psychotic, self-harming place. It's horrible. It's
absolutely. And I agree with Christine Jenkins. Thanks for listening in, Christine. You say that we need to get the message out there. We so do. And guys, get on our website. One way that you guys can help out there is go to www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au and check out the change.org petition that needs to be signed.
Absolutely.
We need as many signatures as possible for the government to stand up and listen to us, to see what we're doing as what we said earlier, a proactive approach. We need over 10,000 signatures. I'm not sure what it's up to at the moment, the number, but we need as many as we can. We need 2,000 more. Or
No, we're up to 7,000.
We're up to 7,000. Okay, we just got the nod from someone else.
Understand
sign language from our awesome operations manager Glenn, and I want to say hi to Glenn too, who's helping us here tonight. And so sign that change.org petition, please, guys. And if you can, for $5, simple as low as $5 a month on the Give Now. Please sign up. $5 a month, I think, trains one child. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. It helps us educate one child against the dangers of ice. So, it doesn't matter. Look, it's not about the money, but we need money to actually do what we do. To get to the places, to give out material. You get a great little wristband like this. We're putting the freeze on ice. Yeah, I've got lots because I came to the radio station to wear them all. So we give that out to the kids. Plus, we give out pocket cards for them to get help. We give them flyers to take home to their parents as well. A little booklet on what do you know about ice, so the kids can remember that, and it's a really impactful workshop. We've got teachers wanting us to have permanent presence in the schools, Leanne, and kids really getting engaging, because we're not their teachers. We're not there to tell them don't do drugs. See, we've all had the drug education, I had it.
Oh, Big Giraffe. Who's that Giraffe? Mr. Giraffe?
Yeah,
in life education. They do a fantastic
job. They do a great job. But what I'm saying is we all get told don't do drugs, but we come in at a different angle. We have been there, we are ex-ice addicts reformed or in recovery, and we're able to tell them the reality of what hell and what an entrapment ice addiction was. And we want to show them, the chemicals that are in ice. We want to show them what happens in the brain, what's the long and short-term effects of ice. We want them to ask us questions. We want to show them, how people take this drug, in what forms, and, that no form, whether it's a needle or a pipe or a tablet or laced marijuana, no form of ice taking is less dangerous than the other. It's all going to do the same thing to the brain. It all breaks down the neurological pathways, and it takes control. Yeah.
Right, so we've just been given the wind-up call, guys. So if you do want to help us, like I said, go to www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au and go on the website, check it out, like us on Facebook, and join the army.
You can also volunteer with us.
Yes,
Leanne.
I was about to say that next.
All the states, in Melbourne, in Queensland, Gold Coast, Toowoomba, in WA, and in Adelaide. Or you can provide a service. For instance, if you're an event coordinator or a bookkeeper or somebody that can help in a certain way, one day a week or a couple of hours, you can provide a service, or you can provide goods for when we have.
Absolutely.
We've got a great event coming up.
Oh, yes,
the Noise Dinner. The Noise Dinner and in Beenleigh.
Okay.
Yep.
Got 1 minute?
Yep.
And we are to mention this.
Okay.
Can you read that on track?
Yeah.
You can talk about that.
Go Desert. We'd like to form an ice action team out here.
Yes.
So if you're interested in forming an ice action team to help us educate in the Bow Desert area, run a community forum, we have a series of programs that we'd like to run out here, a walk against ice, an art competition. We'd like to get the message into Bow Desert, because this is your home. Yep. And we want to be able to help protect your home and your community. One person on ice affects the community, not just the person that's taking it. For one person on ice, statistically, 9 people.
Okay, we've got to finish now, guys. So remember, not even once, and that's the message out there. Thank you for listening in. Thank you, guys from Bow Desert area, and we're here to help. So 07565 6063 for any queries. Thanks, Mick, for having us.
No, thank you for coming in, and of course we will see you, I'll see you, and I'll speak to you in 2 weeks' time.
Beautiful. Look forward to it.
Same time, same channel. So everyone out there, please stay tuned, and we'll be returning back to normal programming now. And I believe the show Melamania with Scan Holly is coming up shortly too.
Okay, guys, thank you for watching through live stream. And
Any questions?
do
maybe?
we have any questions that last minute, for a couple of minutes, we could stay online for live stream for any questions that may be out there? Thanks, Bernice, for your support, for listening in the whole time. I saw you a couple of times make comments and
all the love that's coming through, Leanne.
Yes, look at all the love.
hearts.
We've got little love hearts coming through. We are loved. We feel the love.
Thank you.
And there's a lady who's doing a nice dinner.
And there's a mate doing
The lady doing the noise dinner.
Gwyneth Noy.
Sorry?
what?
Gwyneth Noy.
Gwyneth
She's
Noy.
from Joyce.
Oh, Noy. Gwyneth Noy.
Sorry, I'm confused.
Sorry, we're confused.
The noise dinner is in Beenleigh.
Oh, the
that is
dinner.
held on, what's the date?
Oh, in April.
April
21st.
21st.
Yay.
And
Carol,
that is
correct us if we're wrong.
going to be an awesome night, and that is to raise awareness and funds for Australian Anti-Ice Campaign to roll out, the program in Beenleigh area and Logan area. So if you're from that area and you want to come and you want to help, it's going to be a great night of fun and entertainment as well.
Yes.
We're not only going to be, talking about ice, but we're going to be enjoying each other's company and and helping the cause. So
And raise money for the cause. So there's tickets still available, Andre?
I believe so.
Right. How
But-
do they contact to get tickets?
Oh, they'll have to contact Carol, but
Carol.
they can do that through our office. So
Okay,
yeah,
ring the
they
office
call
and we
the
can
office.
put you on to Carol, which is 07 5665 6063.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a great night, and we've got a few other events coming up. So keep an eye on our Facebook page because all our events are there. We've got a dinner coming up in Toowoomba, another one in Melbourne. So yeah, it's getting
It's going
exciting.
up. It's rolling, and it's
Yeah.
it's having a great effect now in the community. So and how to donate? Scott just asked, how do we donate? Go onto the website, Scott, www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au and
Join the army.
Join the army.
Yeah,
Give
join the
now.
ANC army.
As for as little as $5 a month.
And it's tax deductible.
Yes,
and
tax
we're an
deductible.
army.
Gotta
Yeah,
be
it's
tax
not just
deductible.
about the money. It's about the force. It's about the army standing against this evil drug that's stealing, killing, and destroying lives out there. Your
Absolutely.
unity in that, signing the petition, and we are not funded, so we do rely on the community to help us roll this out in their community. So if you're in Bowen Desert and you'd like us to work in this area, we need your help. So please don't hesitate to contact us. We can help your area. So yeah, give us a call.
Yep, do that, guys. And so we'll sign off now. I'll be back in a fortnight with a very special guest person to interview next.
Awesome.
Where I'd like to leave that as a surprise right now, but it's going to be fun. So I look forward to tuning in with you guys next fortnight from Bow Desert Radio here in Bow Desert. Thank you, Mick. Thanks,
Okay.
Glenn.
101.
And thanks, 101.5 Bow FM.
And guys,
Not even once.